other than work.
I got you.
And life.
Appreciate that. That's see.
What is this?
Leave it to women, right? Always cleaning up a guy's mess.
All right.
Don't look me in my eyes and talk to me. That's weird. That's weird.
You're connecting on a deeper level.
All right.
I felt the hurt. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that like
Just
that.
leave them.
I know.
Mediate for them.
No, that's not.
You could.
I'm a little hurt though.
Would you say this is an abusive relationship that we have with Champ right now?
I feel like it's an emotional abuse.
There's
could be, but
definitely
I
an
don't think
emotional
so.
attack going from over here.
It's not an emotional
Black
attack.
is definitely
I'm just
something-
I'm disclosing my feelings. I feel hurt.
But do you think that Champ feels open to discussing?
No, I don't feel.
But
like
then that means that you're being abusive, bro.
How?
Because you're just implementing your thoughts on him without giving him the avenue to discuss
All
it
right,
back.
perfect. I like that segue. Let's talk
Preach.
about this.
That's a good segue.
Yeah.
He's like, preach.
Saying.
All right. So there's sorry to cut you off. There's lots of types of abuse. One of them that I wanted to ask about is psychological abuse, because physical, we've all seen it.
Right.
Men, women, they do it to each other. They do it to children. They do it to older people. Physical abuse is older people.
I'm sorry.
Tell 'em why you laughing.
I pictured them.
You
Sorry.
never seen an old man get beat up?
You guys
cool.
need to
Yeah, you need to calm down
sorry.
right now.
stop.
I'm sorry.
This is what we do.
I know.
We apologize.
I want
I'm trying to be serious.
I'm being all right,
Why you
man.
laughing?
It's funny to me,
How many
bro.
drinks in?
I don't know.
Anyways,
It's funny to me.
no, I want to talk about different types of abuse. One of them being psychological, and I think from a man's perspective, we don't. I'm not gonna say we. I'm gonna say men don't necessarily know when we're doing it, but is there a way to kind of
Psychological or emotional? Which one?
I think they fit hand in hand.
Okay.
I think they're both, because there's emotional abuse where it's like you'll tear down a woman emotionally by her physical appearance, the way she looks, like you need me because nobody else wants you. Then there's that psychological abuse that I equate to, it's like you need me in order to succeed in your career because you're going to benefit from me. It's like you need me to succeed in your career, in finance. That's a little
Do you
bit
think
different.
those are words spoken, or like it's I'd say it like just through the dynamic of the relationship, the woman puts that in her mind based on things the man has conveyed.
It's a yes or no answer for me
I think it
because
could be both.
yeah,
I think it could be spoken, and I think it could also be just based on the actions and, like you said, the dynamic of the relationship. And I think,
to be honest, I think it's men and women. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
that only men do that.
right,
I think that women have a big part to play in that as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
do you think men?
Because I could see
Like,
how,
Broken Heels is not just, like, I mean, our mandate is to help women, but
Of
it's
course.
not meant to stay under that umbrella. Like, at the end of the day, we recognize both sexes go through
I
it.
think the misconception is called Broken Heels. It's not called Broken Jays.
It's called broken HEA.
I mean, I was going to start Broken
I like
Ties,
that.
but okay,
No.
J's,
I
yeah.
like Broken Heels, Broken Heals. That's
Yeah.
true. I like that because
Yeah.
it kind of it puts both sexes into the equation, and
Yeah.
I think obviously there's a lot of women that kind of abuse men in the sense of saying you don't make enough money, you can't take, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that, and kind of put that stigma on men where it's like you need to take care of me in every avenue of life, and it's like I just want to love you and put some dick in you.
It's gonna happen.
I'm just saying though.
It's gonna happen.
You know?
My question. Okay, this is my other question. If a young lady grew up in an abusive household, her father was abusive to her mother, her father was abusive to her and her brothers and siblings. When she gets older, I've noticed it. Women and men tend to fall in relationships that resemble the ones
It's
that
just as broken.
are just as broken.
That's actually something I just touched on
Yeah.
last week. I have a very strong belief, and this is where I want to get into helping people. I don't want to deal so much with adults. I want to talk to children also, because I'm a very strong believer in cycles of abuse. I have seen it in my own life, and I think that it's something that when you grow up in an abusive household, this is a learned behavior, as Tash said before. You know, this is something you see, this becomes a norm to you, and it's very difficult to unlearn what has become normal to you. So you grow up seeing your dad beat on your mom.
Yeah.
You, without even realizing, sometimes you will gravitate towards somebody who has that same persona
Demeanor, yeah.
as your
It's like a
father,
spiritual
and
connection
it's,
kind of,
Right.
in a way,
in a
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, there's a
And
saying like
it's-
you marry the one, like for men we marry no women similar to our mothers.
Moms, yeah.
And it's I just lost my train of thought there.
No,
But yeah,
fine.
it's something that I do believe is very, very pertinent. I believe it's very, very real. And I think the key to breaking these cycles
Right.
is getting to children from a young age and showing them that this is wrong. And the same thing with sexual abuse. You know, a lot of children, like a lot of abuse starts very, very young. Children's sexual abuse is very, very young. And I believe that if a child is taught that just because somebody touches you this way and it feels good doesn't necessarily mean it's right, and to learn the meaning of yes and no. And I think this could potentially save a lot of heartache and a lot of confusion for a child growing up. And I think this is why we have a generation of such over-sexualized adults right now, is that a lot of abuse happened when we were all kids, and it went untalked about because in our generation they didn't touch on it as much. And I think that's why we have this generation now of just rampant sex maniacs.
No, that's absolutely true.
Damn.
No, you're right there. I
But
agree with that.
I actually think this generation is more empowered. It's stronger.
I find the younger generation,
I think we're
I do feel
Yeah,
like
that
they're
too.
extremely empowered and enlightened, and I do think it's because of the internet and stuff.
Yeah,
But I
that
feel
too.
like there's like this one half that's super ambitious, empowered, and enlightened, and then there's like the Kylie
Yeah,
generation, and
100%,
you're like,
yeah,
what the
100%.
hell is
What's going
happening
on?
over
You can
here?
still be
Social-
empowered and ambitious and this, that, and the other, and still have your scars.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. But I feel like coming out and embracing who you are is part of growth.
No, I
So
agree.
you still have your
100%.
scars, but you're stronger than the other person who's not willing to come out and show
I agree with that
who they
100%.
truly are.
But what I want to do is raise a generation of people that don't have to come out and say this is what's happened to me, because it doesn't happen to them.
Okay, true.
Yeah, and that's a good mission statement to have. It's obviously a big feat, you know, especially just with so much going on. There's so much, like you said, there's so much sexual activity going on, and it's almost like saying, you know, I want to stop murders from happening all over the world. It's obviously a great thing to have, a great mission statement to have, but it's obviously going to take a lot of work, and I think that the first way that it starts is getting the word out there like we're doing now, and doing the seminars that you ladies are doing, which I think is great, and it's going to obviously help a lot of people, and it definitely starts from telling your experience and telling your stories and letting people know that, you know, I once was. And even for us in the fitness industry, like I'll speak for myself, like a lot of ways I talk to a lot of my clients and I tell them, you know, that I once was story. Like for clients that want to lose weight or clients that want to get stronger or get fit, I give them that story of I once was not that. And these are the steps I took, and kind of giving people a blueprint to how to reach any goal, you know, so.
I feel like there needs to be more work done amongst males.
Okay.
It's like I'm tiptoeing.
Okay, yeah, no, be honest.
But I
No,
feel
be
like there
honest.
needs
Don't
to be
tiptoe, stomp.
Yeah, straight up.
Let us
I feel
know.
like there needs to be more work done with men in regards to opening up and their understanding of sex and consent and love and what a family structure looks like, because I feel like women, our natural personalities are to be very emotional and vulnerable, and I'm probably gonna catch a lot of heat from
And
other
also
women.
nurturing. No, I'm with
But
you.
yeah,
I'm
we're
with you. I'm with you.
nurturers,
Yeah,
we're
that's all.
loving, and even as no matter how strong we may be or independent we may be perceived as, we're still looking for a partner to lead.
100%.
And I don't know, from personal experience and from working with so many women, there's that lack of leadership on the male side.
I like that. And you know what? I think that, interestingly enough, with that topic, I think that there's a couple things that go into that. It's like we're kind of in the age where, you know, so back in the 60s, 70s, women kind of got, or 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s, women got the right to vote and all that women power that kind of came about, which is great.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of, and it's funny because a lot of feminists, there's feminists and then there's women who believe in women empowerment, but it's like, there's a lot of feminists.
There's a thin line.
Exactly. And a lot of feminists kind of have that male bashing, you know, women have the power and we should be as equal as men. And there's almost a stigma of like competing, and it shouldn't be that way. And I think that in that same context or with that same topic, it's like there should, like you said, you want to have that empowerment, you want to feel strong, but you also want a man to lead, or you want to still feel like there's somebody that's leading. And I think with that whole this women's movement and this whole feminist movement that's kind of been happening the last 15 years, 20 years, a lot of men have felt like they need to take a back seat, or, you know what I'm saying? So there's this kind of blurred line now where
Men have been emasculated.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
Right.
I think, and to me, I think that.
That's what I wanted to say.
But honestly, I feel like real men don't get emasculated. Like I feel like
this goes back to
You know what I'm saying?
mindset, and like Jessica said, it's
mindset.
cycle.
Yeah.
It's a mindset, and it's been happening generation over generation
Right.
of. I guess the men's mindset just getting weaker and weaker, and unfortunately now what has happened is we've got all these independent women who do look at men, and the minute they're emotional, a man is emotional, like, oh well, he's too soft for me, like I don't want to talk to him, like so it just goes against everything that we know should be a family structure.
Absolutely.
I guess. Yeah.
So basically, there's too many Drakes, not enough 50 cents.
No woman is out here looking for 50 Cent. Like, yeah.
Hey,
Nah.
Drake is here singing, making dudes
50
emotional
Cent's
and
not a
stuff.
married man, no?
Be friends. Doesn't have anymore.
Drake is kind of tough. Bro.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a Drake fan,
happening
but
right now?
he makes me emotional.
I mean,
Like in the last 20 years, yes, men have gotten softer. I agree.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but to be fair, there's not enough women respecting that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think
I never
it's a
thought about it
balance
that
thing. No, absolutely.
No, it's a
100%,
balance
bro.
thing.
It's a
And
balance
it
thing,
does
man.
equate to what you're saying in
No,
regards to
listen.
women's rights and
I
stuff
have a
like
counter
that.
argument to that. It's
Okay.
not that women are respecting it, it's just everyone wants to be Beyonce
No.
No.
and Rihanna.
No.
No.
You know, they want to be the independent, I got this type of
I actually
Which
think
I
that...
respect.
But their point is that that's not what they want. Like, okay, I think that women want the
I
respect
think
to be
women have
themselves.
given up.
Given
Straight up. I think women
Given up
have
on
said
them?
yes. I
No.
think women have
Hold
said,
up.
listen,
go
I
ahead.
think women, and it equates to what you're saying in regards to women's rights and stuff and that whole movement, and we could get into this whole history lesson, but I think women have seen what society has done to men and what men have allowed to happen to them,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, and they've just kept on moving. And so now they have stepped into these leadership roles and they have become very independent. And now it's kind of like, well, who's going to match my swag?
But do you think it's that men have regressed, or is it that women have just stepped up a notch?
I think
Both.
women have stepped up.
I think both.
I can't say for sure. You're the man
Men have
here,
regressed.
so
We
you
just stopped.
yeah.
I think it's both. I think
Maybe there's an
lot of-
intimidation.
Because here's the thing. Ultimately, okay, if we look at a man trying to get with a woman, right? There's two things that a man wants. There's the man that wants just pussy, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So that man will do pretty much
Everything.
whatever that woman wants to get that pussy, right?
Yeah.
Then there's the man that wants to be with a woman. And that man also obviously wants pussy, but he also wants to capture whatever the essence of what that woman wants for her life, and he wants to be able to give
He wants
her
it
that.
to mold to his.
Absolutely.
Okay, so like
You know what I mean?
when does it move from the man who just wants pussy to the man who says this woman is worth it and yes I want her pussy?
It starts with
Like
that.
when does that transition happen?
It depends on the mindset from the beginning. It's like, for example, I'm the type of dude, I'm not just out for pussy. Like I'm not running up in these streets just looking for random bitches to fuck.
Right.
And it comes with
Sorry to
age,
call
too.
them Bitches. I don't mean to call them bitches. I'm just saying, from a terminology standpoint. whatever.
Okay.
Women to fuck, right? I'm not that kind of guy. So it depends on the guy you are from the jump, or what your intent is from the jump. If you're on Tinder, Bumble, POF, looking for girls to have sex with, that's your intent from the jump. So you just want vagina. Whereas there's guys like myself who want a relationship. I want someone to build with. I want someone to be with, right?
Right.
So with that comes, I think, a different mindset as far as how you decide to go into a relationship. And do you go in with this intent of the guy that wants pussy who just is doing what it takes to kind of crack the code to get the pussy, or the guy that's saying, this is what I am, this is the type of man that I am, do I mold or match with the type of woman that you are? And if I don't, then I'm not just going to try and get your pussy, I'm going to leave the situation alone entirely. So I think it starts...
But do you see
know
how
what I'm
you
saying?
still have the cards in your hand?
I was about to say the same thing. 'Cause
Like
I know
you
she
still,
wasn't-
like
she
at the end
wasn't-
of the day, the woman is on the other end
Yeah.
trying to figure out if you just want her pussy or if you want to take her to the
And-
next step.
And that's why I think
So you're still
communication is
leading.
number one. Like, you know, I think
I don't know.
communicating...
This is a one-sided argument. It's a one-sided argument. How do you know she just doesn't want dick?
That communication is number one. So
There-
we have our
because
first
I'm-
date.
I'm
But
not-
here's the thing: I
you know
think
what I'm saying?
women are quicker to say, "This is all I want from you," versus men. I feel like you guys, not you specifically,
yeah.
but I feel like you guys
Say what we
will
want to hear,
court
or what you
regardless.
think
At
we
the end of the
want to
day,
hear.
whether it's pussy or marriage, you
Because-
guys will court regardless.
Because that's what history and culture and society has taught us.
No, I disagree with you.
What?
From my perspective, from my perspective, this is how I see
looking
it.
at you, bro.
I know you are. From my perspective, this is how I see it. If we're on a date and you're telling me, I want a man to build with, I want a man to mold with, blah, blah, blah.